Welcome to the Let Me Just Say This podcast. Today's your two main hosts, me and
Ben.
Yeah, and we got our two guests here, Colton and Tater again.
Hello. What's up?
What were we?
And Colton's English now.
Hey. I can't do English accent. That's my best one. Hey.
So I guess one thing we'll start off with is the phobias. Okay, so if anyone's willing to share with the audience what your main phobia or fear is.
Well, we can start by...
My phobia is sharing.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? The last, or episode 4?
I forget
when
what
we
number.
had the spider incident on the show.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody
Still haven't
heard
watched
it.
that.
Freaks and cheeks.
That is a phobia of mine.
Yeah,
It's
Ben's
not-
terrified of spiders.
I just have nothing, I don't have a problem with them, like, staying outside and catching all the bugs. Like, everybody's like, oh, well, they're more afraid of you than you are of it. I'm like, I don't really care. I don't like spiders. So if they come in the house, they die. That's just how I feel about it. I also have a few other fears, Fear of heights. Not really the heights. It's more what happens if you fall from that height.
Right.
But-
That's what my stepdad said.
I would say that's my main fear is just heights, but
Really?
again, it's more of like the thought of the aftermath and like the process of falling, But like at the same time, I have this like weird suicidal curiosity where I start to look over the edge.
Oh, God.
Like I'm like, wow, this is really far,
So you can never do like the building in
Yeah.
New York where you stand on the glass panel and you can just see
No,
down.
I could probably do that, but I'd be like,
That'd be a no.
I could probably do that, but I'd be like crapping my pants and just like screaming my head off,
Like when people go to New York City and they go to the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's all right.
Look at me.
Have a good time.
I mean, if you're on top of the state though, it's not like you can see what's below you. You can just see like around you.
Yeah, you're right, Colton. I can't tell that I'm way up in the air.
I mean,
Come on, dude.
Also, with
It's
like,
high up.
so it's not the fact that you can see how high up you are. It's just
No, I can just... Dude, if I get close enough to the edge, I can sense. I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
that's a bit much.
well, and also it's like those. Don't they say like the winds are really strong up there, like at the top?
You know who feels that is that poor guy who goes and changes the light bulb on the top of them.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
And they have it. They got the guy that climbs that ladder.
Or the guys
And he
who
has
clean
to
the
wear,
windows
like,
on the
those
side.
Safety.
Yeah, he has like safety harnesses the whole way up, and he's.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he's up there and he's just swaying back and forth.
There's people that
Yeah.
do that stuff and like they record it on GoPros and whatnot because it's insane how high and how dangerous it is.
I watch those videos in my hands, like even talking about it, my hands just get sweaty.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no.
Well, it's like you get terrified because it's like, what if the video doesn't cut and he's like just constantly falling and someone uploaded that?
He has
Yeah.
harnesses. Like he
That-
wouldn't die, but he would probably get hurt.
I wonder how
You
far
saw
those
the
harnesses
fall.
go though, Colton.
Well, I mean, who knows?
To the ground.
Let's find out.
There's a couple people on YouTube though. It's like I don't wear the harnesses because it's not exciting enough. It's like what's wrong
What?
with you?
What?
Yeah, I mean that.
Well, if you think about it too, like if you hire that guy, it's like, well, one less paycheck.
I think they want more assurance that you're gonna be there for the next job. But
I'm sure it's going to be more like, yeah, I know you don't like to use the safety harnesses, but you're going to use the safety harnesses or you're not going to work for us.
Or those people who like walk on tight ropes or like in between buildings, and it's like,
Oh,
what are you
dude.
doing?
I went to Niagara Falls once, and I saw someone doing
Way to
that
brag.
between two
Humble brag.
skyscrapers. I thought he was gonna die. He was like 70 years old, like completely
Oh,
white
wow.
hair.
Really?
He had this big long pole, and he just walked across the entire thing.
But see, I think it was easier for him because at 70 whatever years old, I mean, he's probably experienced quite a bit, and
That's
he's
true.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Making
this,
the-
I'm
been
making
doing
the
this for
news
70
either
years.
way.
I'm not good or bad.
If he fell, that would be awesome. If he like fell, but finished it off with like a perfect swan dive.
Oh my god.
Even brought his hands together at the end. Whoops.
Oh my god. And he like face plants, and you just hear this big.
I wonder what that sounds like. You think
Oh,
it's like
not
a
good.
watermelon like hitting the ground?
It probably is more of a crunch. Because,
Really?
I mean, it's bones.
I mean,
Snap, crackle, pop, Rice
I
Krispies.
was thinking more he'd just land in the water, wouldn't he?
No, this is it's not
Oh.
on the
Oh,
waterfall.
I was just talking about-
It's over
towards the top.
asphalt.
Oh,
It's-
well, that's just not smart on his part.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when they say
Well, he's gonna
like
die either way, but yeah.
it's like when they say when you jump off the Golden Gate Bridge, it's like if you survive, it's really horrible because like you break a bunch of bones and you're just like drowning to death at that point.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Why are you going to jump off the bridge?
Suicide.
All right, then. Excuse me. Sorry.
Hello, darkness.
My old friend.
I don't know the lyrics.
I've come to talk with you again.
We're
Ba-bum.
copyright stricken.
What about you, Colton?
Me, I don't think I had that. I can't think of a phobia.
Or just like a big fear.
Or also known as a phobia.
I don't know like a specific one. Like
See, I don't
it's like
think-
not unique.
Yeah,
To
I guess
everybody.
like I think obvious things are like, yeah, I'm not gonna go out in the woods and like look for a bear to fight.
Yeah, of course.
Because you kind of fear the bear, but I'm not worried about bears constantly attacking me.
Yeah.
Like I lock myself in my house thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now gorillas do that though.
Only ones that have trained to lift weights.
Honestly though, when I have been out west, like those national parks,
Never
I think,
forget Harambe.
the idea of the grizzly bears didn't scare me as much
love you.
as the cougars in the area, because they talk about if you see a grizzly bear, there's a chance he's just to ignore you. It's like, oh whatever, just another tourist. But
You mean cougars as in the animal, or
Yeah, the
like
cougars.
40-year-old
No.
women?
no, like cougars, like big
That's
cats.
what I'm into.
They talk about if you see a big cat, the reason you see it is because it's hunting you, and it's tracked
Oh,
you
that's comforting.
and it's tracked you for like the last hour, so it really wants
Wow.
you.
Hey,
Yeah,
look,
that's pretty
hey, look,
dedicated,
sweetie,
though.
there's a bobcat.
I'm glad
Oh,
something.
good.
I'm glad something
We should
cares
leave.
about me.
Yeah. I'm not
At
sure
that
Get
point,
away
do you,
from that,
at
then.
that point, do you immediately go challenge the cat?
No, well, they talk about with people that bike in the area, you just lift the bike over your head and try to scare it off as long as possible.
What if
and
you
it's
don't
still
have a
gonna try to
bike?
follow you as you keep going.
I saw my son use a bicycle as a weapon.
But what if you don't have a bike on hand,
Step
Colton?
brothers.
Huh?
You don't have a bike, I don't know, you can't do anything.
You should just keep a
What do
can
you
of
mean
keep a can of cat food in your backpack,
You
dude.
should just always keep a can of bike.
So like
I'm
the
pretty sure
advice.
bear spray might work against it, but it's not what it's intended to
So
use
like
for.
the advice they give them is like, well, you should just give up on survival if you don't have a bike.
They just say it's like if you see one, it's like
It's your fault for not having a
it's
bike.
kind of just game over
I think
unless
at
you
that
have
point,
something.
find a stick and sharpen it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
the
it's
best
like
you can, because
protect
that's gonna
yourself
be-
at any means necessary.
That's gonna be your chance.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait there, Cougar. I gotta sharpen
No,
this.
no, I'm just saying, dude. I'm saying at that point, like
Yeah.
you're saying, do your best.
Yeah, because that's
In
what they
about
tell you.
15
It's like
minutes, and
it's just
woo.
like there's not much you can do. Just
You know,
try.
I got distracted while whittling, and I made a statue for some reason.
But it's still pointy, so I'm gonna stab him in the eye with it if he
Yeah.
comes at me.
I mean, you're allowed to have knives on there, so maybe you can try to take it out with you.
Man,
I
Colt,
mean, I think you could if
I
you
would
got
hate-
him right, and you're gonna get hurt. There's no
Yeah.
question.
I would hate to be out in the wilderness with you, Colton. You give up too easily on survival. I don't
Well,
have a
I don't
bike.
if
think
you see a
Colton's-
large cat,
I don't think Colton's worried about it if you're with him because he's going to run away from you.
oh yeah.
I'll
and
break your legs, Colton.
And the,
Well, they talk about it's like the guy that went out with his friend and saw a grizzly bear started charging towards him, and the guy starts tying his shoes. It's like, what are you doing? It's like you can't outrun it. It's like I'm not gonna outrun it. I'm gonna
Wait,
outrun
he
you.
decided then to tie his shoes?
No,
Yeah.
the joke is he's like
he's-
getting ready to outrun his friend.
And yeah, he's gonna outrun it. I don't need to outrun the bear. I need to outrun you, kind of thing. And he just takes off running.
which is why I don't go hiking with anybody.
Well, your solution is to just pick someone up and throw them at it.
Well, at least
That's,
with the-
but that's my best chance.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
I
not
mean,
running from an
I'm
animal.
not saying it's
Yeah.
My
wrong.
best
It's-
chance is trying to. Well,
if
I'll
I
kill
could-
it
if
first,
I could-
hopefully.
I mean,
if I could do that, I would too. But I don't have that kind
even
of
with like
strength.
grizzly bears, they talk about it's like, well, if you don't have bear spray, then just lay down and play dead, and hopefully it doesn't attack you. It's just that's the only thing you can do.
It'll like move you around and try
Yeah.
to get you to, and don't make. You just gotta just lay
Yeah.
there.
I
which
still
I'm
think
like,
I still think I have a better fighting chance against a cougar though.
Oh, you do. If like you have a more of a fighting chance. What I'm saying is, it's gonna be a lot more stubborn than the grizzly bear. It's already tracked you to that spot. Like
It's
wants you.
followed you.
invested now.
It's
Yeah.
followed you and watched you live for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it wants you at this point. Like it's stubborn about it.
Like any good cougar, it doesn't give up.
It wants you.
It's stubborn about it. So, does this phobia thing, is that,
So now,
like, I'm afraid of heights, but if I could go...
but is it like life ruining?
No, if I could go to, like, you know those bridges where they have the glass bottoms?
Yeah.
I would do that.
Like
Like, that'd
in-
be kind of cool.
Yeah.
They have one in Japan or China
Cause like
that's just on the edge of a cliff, and halfway through they have a little simulation where it looks like the glass is
Yeah.
going to start to break, and it freaks everybody
yeah,
out.
it's
so
really
funny.
messed
I
up
wonder
how
how
they
many
play.
messes they've cleaned
Oh,
up
yeah.
out
I
there.
don't know, for real.
It's really messed up how they play that prank on people. It's like you're gonna kill like an old man or something.
It was one of like an old Asian man like freaking out, like crawling and stuff. That was
Yeah.
I
kind
saw
of
one
bad.
where
And there's people just cracking up at him. He's like, ah!
That's
He
exactly
starts
what the
to
video
grab at
was.
his
he
chest.
starts having a heart attack.
It's like he's clenching his chest. Look, ah!
This old fool.
You loser! You're dying.
It's not actually breaking, you idiot. Ah! Get the defibrillator.
Do you think they have one on that
Oh,
specific spot?
I bet they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to have like a bunch of them on hand.
Yeah.
Of course, you kind of have to look at that like, dude, you went out there. You walked across a glass bridge. Your fault. I'm sorry.
Do you think it'd be messed up if like it actually fell and people thought it was all fake?
They start laughing
Oh,
at
this
him.
is such a cool tourist attraction.
And how'd they make it look like 3 people fell like that? Wow. Did you hear how real that sounded?
Did you hear those bone crunches?
Have you heard about
Bones crunches.
the Spider-Man?
as they hit the side of the cliff.
Oh god.
Have you heard about like the Spider-Man Broadway show where the guy's harness failed and he fell into the crowd and people thought it was part of the show for a second?
What?
And
Who would think that?
because it was just like, oh, he looks like he just barely missed.
Swung.
Because he's supposed to stay Mary Jane, but he missed her, so they thought it was played for laughs. And he fell into the crowd, and he just didn't get up, and everybody started going like, uh-oh. It's like, this is not good.
That's when Spider-Man goes out of character and just starts cussing up a storm, getting back up and walking up on stage.
He comes back the next day with a back brace, and they're like, ha ha, nice joke.
Spider-Man full adventures of the paraplegic.
His wheelchair has 8 wheels.
My roller senses are tingling. Oh god. Alright, that's the last thing I'm gonna say, then we're gonna have to leave this. His worst enemy is stairs.
And wow.
We're just great with movie ideas.
So I'm fearful of heights, but it doesn't stop me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only thing I truly am afraid of is not living a life I'm happy.
Are you at that point yet, Tater?
It's a fear, man. I mean, what if it's at the end of the line, and like I have a religious faith, but there's no way to prove that there's anything at the end of the line. So what if it's done and I'm like, man, that sucked, and then that's it. That's it. It's just black
But
for the rest.
you wouldn't know any the better. So
I guess the most optimistic advice I could give is the future is what you make it, Tater.
You just gotta make every day good.
Way to get depressing on us.
isn't that?
That's what I'm afraid of. All right, I'm sorry. You
Very
asked.
realistic fear.
I mean,
I'm sorry that I'm not afraid of
Volcanoes.
cougars.
as a third-year college student,
Volcanoes.
I could definitely relate to that one because it's like, am I making any of am I really gonna enjoy this when I'm done?
What were
I
you
can
gonna
relate
say,
to that.
Ben?
Oh, I'm not nothing really. I was just listening.
Okay.
I'm also deeply afraid of herpes.
AIDS is a really big one.
You said age or AIDS?
AIDS.
That
Nice.
too.
That's two. Yeah.
Aging AIDS are the worst.
May you please get me a water, Tater?
So yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, you were here when that spider came out on the ceiling. I kind of just moved myself from the vicinity of it. Maybe you weren't.
I weren't here.
You weren't here, but Tater and Christian were here with
Adam.
Adam. Yeah, and I removed myself from
It
the
was
vicinity of the spider.
Yeah.
Of course, Christian's like, it's not a big deal, and I'm like, well, tell him that, because
Yeah.
He did fall on my hand, and I was like, hey.
I will say spiders don't bother me that much at all, unless it's like something I know is poisonous.
Here's the part. This is the part that really bothers me about it. You never see him coming from like miles away.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't.
always just like, hey, there's a spider.
Yeah.
I don't really like the really fast running ones. Those are more
Oh,
terrifying.
if it ran at me, no. Yeah, I think I'm
Like
pretty
if it's
afraid of it.
crawling all over me, then I'm like, no, get off. Like I'm really grossed out.
I have no problem. I've killed spiders before. I think it's funny when a place I used to work, there was one inside, and it was probably about 10 feet away from me on the floor, and it was probably about the size of a quarter. Well, like I came around the corner, I looked and saw it, and I had that moment of feeling like I think it saw me.
Yeah.
So it turned away from me and started running down the hallway, going back and forth like serpentine style. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill this thing. He's afraid of me. So I walk right up on him.
Yeah.
But I was like, now that at that point he did fear me, but I still wasn't really thrilled about having to step on him.
So while you are talking about this, I was just thinking,
Yeah.
what are common fears that people have? And I just want you to hear this one, because I don't think this is a fear. I just think this is common sense.
What is it?
Agoraphobia.
What's
It's
that?
the fear of places or situations that trigger fear or helplessness. That just sounds like common sense.
That
to
is
me.
very ambiguous too. It's like
say that one more time.
Fear of being
It
in
is
a
the fear of
fearful
places
place.
or situations that trigger fear or helplessness.
what?
It's basically saying I'm afraid of being afraid, or being put in a situation that I will be afraid. It's like that's duh.
stupid.
Yeah. That just sounds like common sense.
Whoever got diagnosed that, just give them a few smacks to like get it out of their system. Well, it's like do you know gynophobia?
No.
That's the fear of women. So like guys who are afraid of women.
Is
And
that
I'm
a
like,
thing?
that one's really weird. Tater's showing me.
I don't.
Oh, I do have
that
one.
one.
There's one on the common fears. Surprising.
That one?
No. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and
You
say
just
it.
read it
I'll
out
just go
because
ahead
I
and
don't
read
know which one you're talking about.
And for our viewers out there, I'm sorry if this
Yeah.
offends.
Tater just likes to stay on his phone during a podcast sometimes.
I don't know exactly what they mean by this, but it is melanophobia,
Uh-huh.
the fear of the color black.
I mean, I am afraid of the dark,
So,
but is it
It's just an excuse for being racist.
So is it...
Like I said, I don't know what they mean by that, but maybe.
Maybe. I
Uh.
did think of a fear I do have, though. It's just been the fact that I haven't been in a situation where it's came up. I'm very claustrophobic. Like, put me in like a tunnel or something like that, and I feel like something's on my chest. I can't stand it.
So like a really narrow hallway doesn't do it good for you.
Oh no! It's like they
Okay.
talk about those horror houses you can go to,
Yeah.
where like the room gets smaller, you have to crawl through it, and it gets
Aw,
hot.
no,
it's like,
forget that.
No, I can't. I'm gonna die. Like I'm just gonna stop and die.
Like as long as you let me stand, I don't care if like you crush my shoulders. But
Yeah, and it comes
like-
from growing up with older cousins. It's kind of like an older brother that just lays on you when you're really small, kind of
Aw,
thing. It's
yeah.
like I can't do it anymore.
Bunch of jerks.
Yeah,
So I'm just thinking out loud.
yeah.
Mhm.
We should do a podcast where we're at during the October Halloween season.
Ooh,
There is a haunted farm.
I've never been to this. My friends have been to it, but yeah.
I've still
I-
never been to it.
I propose either one, we do it before and after the haunted farm,
Oh my God.
or
That'd be good.
we see if we can take this during the haunted farm.
Do we have to bring a band?
If I could set up the ladder, I would. I could probably figure out a way.
we just need to
Just thinking out
bring
loud.
like a van or something like that.
Wait, what are you gonna
I
do with
have
the van?
access to a van.
Because we need to find, like, cause we can't
Okay.
be at the place while doing it because it'll be so loud. So
Okay.
we need to be like in the parking lot or something, right?
We could use the van for that.
No, Tater's suggesting like we have a before and after effect of going to the
and
farm.
then he said or during.
Or during.
or during.
Yeah.
That's what,
And I'm saying if I could set up the during, I might do that.
yeah.
Like get our own little mics hooked up to us.
Oh, you mean like like play
Yeah.
footage of us actually in
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Do
interesting.
you think they'll let me milk the cow at the haunted farm?
Do you think while you milk it, I could be under and drinking? Do you think that, which one do you think they'll
You
allow?
realize, Christian, the milk you drink from like
Yes.
Ingles, from Ingles is not that. They processed it.
I
and
know
stuff,
this.
because there's a lot of stuff in that you probably shouldn't drink right out of it.
Why not? Come on.
I mean, it's
So,
probably,
So, haunted farm.
Back
Let
up
us know what you
but that's
think.
what would be the scary part, Colton.
That's true.
Well,
I guess another problem of mine. I
Let's
will
live
not
in
drink
that
milk
nip.
We'll have a
from
spooky
straight from
episode.
a cow.
A Halloween special.
Yeah.
A Halloweeny special, if you will. Will you, Ben?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Mm.
So that's an interesting topic too, about paranormal and ghostly things
Oh,
in the world, and if does anyone else believe in those things?
not necessarily. Like I don't believe it, but like when you hear, for example, if you're home alone and you just hear like a thud from the attic from like
Yeah.
a squirrel that got in it and whatnot, it's like immediately your mind starts running like, oh, there's a ghost or like a child in the attic trying to kill me right now.
I've always just
But-
been more afraid of like dolls and mannequins coming to life
I-
because of
I can
movies
add
and
to
video games and all that stuff.
I can add to the doll phobia. My grandmother, I used to stay over at her house all the
Does
time.
she have porcelain dolls
What's porcelain?
or like those
Like a-
really
Stuff the toilet's made of.
It is?
like what's
Oh.
what's that movie with the Annabelle?
Oh,
That one of those.
Ben
But you've
was-
seen that movie,
Ben was
right?
looking at
yeah, I see. Yeah, the really fancy ones.
Yeah.
That's a kind of like that glass.
Yeah, but like a bunch of those. Did she have those?
She only had like one, but that's the thing. She had this room that I would sleep in, and
No.
she used to collect dolls, and she had that one like Annabelle in the glass container.
No.
And then a bunch of them, and they all faced toward the bed.
Oh,
dude.
No.
that's
That's
weird.
Dude,
Why?
we talked about, And the only light was the night light because I literally couldn't sleep if she did not have that light that night light
Oh my
there.
God.
Jesus Christ! You talk about like staying up all night is looking around you.
Yeah.
Now there is. I saw a video on it one time. It was one of those dark, YouTube. Like, you start at so and so's hit new song, and then you go to creepy things to watch at 3 a.m. in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, there's a museum where they have a doll on display,
Ooh, yeah.
and the doll moves by itself. Like,
horrible.
not fast, but like within, like they had it sitting to where it was like its legs and body was facing one way, and then but the people were entering in another way. You know what I mean? Like they were looping around it. Within the hour, it had slowly shifted, and it might have been the thing it was sitting on,
Yeah.
but still, it's creepy. It slowly
Yeah.
shifted to where its legs and its face were facing where the people were coming in.
Back when I was younger and I was more stupid, just like look up a bunch of horror stuff to scare me on YouTube. And honestly, it was like that clickbaity like 2000 stuff, like early YouTube, where it's like ghost kills girl and here's
Oh, yeah.
video footage of it
Yeah,
actually hitting, like happening. And I'd be like, oh my god, and I click it, and then I get terrified, and I'm like, well, I can't sleep at night anymore, you know. And it's like there was just a bunch of those. Like one of them that's always stuck to my mind. Well, two of them. One of them was, did you ever see that old video of like a car driving down a road through a windy road, and there's an
you
open
mean
field?
The heart
jump scare
attack
thing?
of 2005.
The jump scare
Yeah,
thing.
that jump scare.
Yeah.
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 That one got me for a while. I was like terrified. And I was like, any imagery I see of that, like of the video, I was like, no, I remember this jump scare.
Yeah,
I
Well,
don't
that's
want
that's when you that's before people learned. Hey, click on this and make sure you turn it up so you can hear it.
Yeah.
There's
You
like,
won't believe this. Turn it up all the way.
if you turn it up,
I
you'll hear
bet
this
I
weird
will.
sound.
I bet I will believe you're trying to scare me.
Yeah.
And did any of y'all play the maze game with that jump scare?
When I was a kid.
I saw a video. Is that the one?
Yeah,
that's
with
where
the guy who
meme
like
punches-
the meme of the guy punching his computer
Yeah.
because he got so scared. But yeah, like I played that again, like an idiot, late at night, like 9 o'clock. I was home alone and all the lights were off except for the computer monitor screen, so it's just illuminating the room behind me. Like a jackass, I turn off the sound too, and I'm like playing it. I mess up and I get the jump scare, and I jump up, knock the chair over, run out from the room, and turn on all the lights in the house. And then I just sit in the living room, like waiting for my parents to come home. Well, that's it for me. No more computer time.
Yeah.
Well, last weekend, it was last weekend. I was staying at a stranger's house because I was dog sitting, and I
Did
made
the
him.
people know you were staying there?
Yeah, of course.
He was in the closet.
Did the dog appreciate being sat on?
Yeah, he did.
Like Smeagol,
she
did
did.
you crawl through the air ducts and just like hide around the roof of the house?
Yeah,
You know?
but I watched a couple of like YouTube videos about like true life crimes and whatnot, like serial killers that got away. But I freaked myself out way too much that first night. I thought someone was like, oh, someone's gonna come rob the house, figure out that I'm there, and decide to
Yeah.
kill me that night. It was,
See, I think I can side a little bit more with that. I'm a little bit more of like things that could actually happen.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
Like getting
Yeah.
mugged.
real stuff. Like
Yeah.
real actual ghosts. I mean,
yeah. Humans scare me more.
yeah.
than-
I don't
yeah.
think I'm not saying like none of those jump scares ever worked on me or anything
Yeah.
like that, but as soon as that moment of it's over, I'm like, oh well, okay.
Exactly.
you
It's like
got
after
me.
you have a day recover from it, I'm
But
usually like,
it doesn't set me back like it does you,
Mhm.
where it's like I'm but I don't know, ghosts don't scare me because it's not like you can do anything about it, even
Yeah.
if there was a ghost.
yeah.
And supposedly, like, what are they gonna do to you besides, boog boo, I'm
Yeah.
a ghost. Okay,
Yeah.
well, just don't block the TV. I'm playing Madden.
You don't understand, Ben. What if there's a ghost in the house rattling the windows?
And you better quit
Windows?
rattling that window because I'm
Windows.
trying to sleep.
So ever since I was a kid,
A wee boy.
I have lived in creepy houses.
Yeah.
And the house I grew up in, I'm not messing around. You used to be able to hear because there's 2 floors.
Do your parents still live in the same house or
no,
no?
no, no.
Okay.
This is we moved. But this is one when I was real little. But there was an upstairs, and there was just one bathroom and one bedroom up there. But no one ever went up there. It's just like my dad's storage place. And in the middle of the night, you could hear someone walking up and down the steps. And like I walked over one time because I thought Dad was going up there. I was like, hey, Dad, can you get something for me? Because I like, I went up there with him sometimes, like, when he's doing his thing, just to hang out with my dad. And so I said, Dad, can you get so and so for me? Oh, I go around. And there's nobody there, and it just stops. And then I go back to my room, and you just hear doop 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 doop, and then it do that all the time. It would do that all the time. And then one time it did it, and the dogs got out of because we used to have them fenced in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they got out of the kitchen and ran to the stairs, and like were barking. They got to the bottom of the stairs, stopped, and just stared up at the top. And then
You think it was your dad messing with you?
I don't know, man. It might
Like
have been.
as a
Yeah.
kid, you think it's a ghost and all that, but now as an adult, do you think like it was just like wind or something?
No. I fully believe that was good.
Okay.
And then I have another story about it. When I went to college, I'm not going to use their name because they probably don't want to be associated with me because I refuse to pay them any more money. But when I went to college, so where I'm at, for a long time, every 3 years someone killed themselves.
Really?
Yeah. And because it's always rainy over there, and so
people get depressed.
yeah. And on one of the floors, stuff always happens. Like one of my friends, her printer would turn on in the middle of the night and just start shooting out papers, just blank papers.
So was this like the same building all the time, like these people would do it, or like all around the campus?
I only know about this building
Okay.
because
fine.
of my experience with it.
All right.
But then also apparently there was a rape at one of the upper buildings, and then the girl killed herself
Oh,
Ooh.
that's
soon
Like-
after that.
Wow.
So, but I wouldn't go up there. But the building I was at, it was at the dorm that I was.
Right next door.
No, it was at the dorm that I was at residing at, and one of my buddies was talking about it. He was like, "Well, let's go around and let's see if we can find anything." So it's like 2, 3 in the morning, and we go.
What are you, Scooby Doo? Let's go, gang.
Listen, man.
Sorry
Listen,
for
it's college.
interjecting.
It's college.
yeah,
It's just,
I can relate.
yeah.
It's-
You see what I'm saying?
Drunk teens.
Yeah, you'll just
Yes.
be up. It's like I just got done studying for like a test. And it's like I probably should sleep. And they're like, "Hey, it's 3 in the
It's too-
morning. Let's go to
Let's go
Asheville."
look for ghosts.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
too late to sleep by that point.
Yeah, I guess so.
But anyway, so we were walking around the hall. I think it was the 5th hall. Anyways, we were walking up and down there, and my friend, he's got like a recording thing, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna record it, and we'll play it back later." I'm not kidding, dude. Like we recorded it, and I just sat in the side staircase, and I just started talking. I didn't start singing, like just goofing around, because I was like, "This bunch of BS."
Like,
Yeah.
what, were you by yourself or
Yeah.
like split up?
Yeah,
Oh.
because he went to the other side staircase.
Oh, okay.
And so we got done and we met with each other, and he started playing it over. Like you hear me talking, and then I stop because I'm like trying to mess with the phone, and I'm not. I swear to God, hand on the Bible, you hear Tater.
Like, so it was like a whisper and then a yell.
It was like Tater,
So it got like
and it was a
progressive,
girl. It was a girl's
ooh.
voice.
Oh, that's not cool.
And it was super scary. I got mad. I was like, "Oh heck no!"
You tell them like delete it and then destroy the recorder.
Can you find the recording?
Dude, I don't even know if that guy's still alive.
Oh my god.
No, I'm
Wow.
not joking. A lot of my friends I hung out with freshman year, a lot of them are dead or in jail.
It's not really good people to hang out with.
That's
I
a bad
guess.
omen.
No, it wasn't a good group of people
That's
to
a
hang out
bad
with.
omen right there.
Oh no.
But so I believe in ghosts. I think they are real.
Okay.
Not all the like. Sometimes like what Colton was saying, where if there's like creaking and stuff in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
then that probably has an explanation. But I mean, man, I don't know. I can't explain something saying my name, and it was crystal clear.
I still have a hard time believing into it all, but I still love like the feeling and just the excitement of like, ooh, like, you know, the supernatural,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like when I hear creaking around the house, I'm like, is that a ghost? Like, it excites me.
Like
Oh,
excited.
it
Yeah.
doesn't kill me.
Yeah.
I hope he's friendly.
Yeah.
It's
Casper? Oh yeah.
But yeah,
How
I
to
don't
make such
know.
a good show out of something so morbid?
But of course,
his kid died early in some horrible accident. He's all right. He's back as a friendly ghost. No big deal.
because I live
I
in
never really thought about that.
I grew up. Yeah, of course I grew up with a Hispanic mother.
You
She's
can
like
say
super.
Mexican. It's okay.
Yeah, we're Mexican.
We love you.
My mother's obviously like super religious background, and she's like all into the incense and like de-ghosting the house, you know. So she's like, oh, get the spirits out, you know.
She tell you a story with La
La Llorona.
Is that
La
so?
Llorona?
What is that real?
It's a.
There's a movie
We're gonna
out.
tell ghost stories.
Yeah, we can. It's dark and late
I mean,
night.
it's like it's a culture myth. for a
Yeah,
lot
it's just a cultural myth down in Mexico, which again I don't know why they made a movie about it in America.
Yeah.
What,
Because
Chupacabra?
No, La Llorona, the crying lady.
the crying.
Oh,
mother.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think originally the story was just meant to scare kids to not go out late at night.
And swim in the river and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. So, but now they turned it like over the years it progressed and she's just like a murdering ghost who kills anyone. And like
Wasn't she like she was reason why she was kidnapping kids late at night was because she was searching for her own because she
I think
lost
again,
her kids.
it's
in the
a
river.
it's a Mexican myth and I grew up in America so I don't really keep in touch with all that.
What's creepiest about that story is like apparently she only hunts kids. Like she's
Yeah,
okay
it was
for
only
adult.
kids.
Oh, phew. I'll be fine.
What's the age cutoff?
I don't know.
18.
It's like, dang it, he just got away.
Thank God Adam didn't come today.
Yeah. But it really traumatized some people. I know that some people like fully believe it and whatnot.
But my mom would, but she would have like a crossover like the front door of the house, and it's like this is to ward off any spirits to keep them from entering in. I'm like, okay, mom, I get it. And it's like, but yeah, it's just this crazy superstitions that some of them are you can get behind, and others you just can't, like curses and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and voodoo stuff.
Yeah.
I think voodoo's real.
You do?
Or well, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Like to
Even
what
if
extent?
it's not real, I'm still not messing with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I think there's things in this world that you probably shouldn't mess around with.
Yeah.
And I have a pretty deep religious background. A lot of this stuff just gets categorized into evil for me. And so, do I believe in ghosts? No. Do I believe that there could possibly potentially be evil spirits in the world that assist things?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I do. It's hard to, it's not hard to explain. It's just it's not ghosts, but I do believe there are evil powers at work, just
Yeah.
like I believe there is
Good power.
good powers at
Yeah.
work. I'm not trying to make it sound like Star Wars.
There's always got to be
Yes.
a positive
You know,
and a negative.
Yeah. Well, it's just like if you hear like a story where it's like, oh, we've opened up this portal to like
Doom.
demonic portal that traumatizes family. It's like I'm not going there.
So
I'm
Doom.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not playing with that fire.
Oh, did y'all, so
Next thing you know,
talk about-
yeah.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just gonna make a Doom reference and say that's when the heavy metal starts playing and you pull out the shotgun.
What
Oh,
is the
man,
shotgun?
the new one looks
Oh.
sweet.
Yeah,
Oh, it
Doom
does.
Eternal. We'll get on to that next, but what were you
I'm
gonna
gonna
say,
scare
Tater?
this ghost with this shotgun. It's not gonna shoot him, but I'm gonna scare it.
Yeah. Ooh.
But so you were talking about the Annabelle doll.
You know that really exists.
Yes, and
It
that,
does?
That yes,
Not
yes,
not
that's
the specific one, but there is the doll called Annabelle that's in a case that's locked because they say it's
locked and
cursed.
like covered like with
Oh
some kind
yeah,
of holy
I
something.
forgot about that because like the movies are based off of an actual couple like exorcises people's families and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But that's real too. That's you can go there.
Yeah.
It's like a museum.
I forgot
You
about
guys
that.
want to go unlock it?
Dude,
No.
would you want to spend a night in that house with all those items?
I'll tell you all a little story.
Okay.
I was in high school, so this was quite a while ago. Me and my brother and a couple of his friends were house sitting for one of the friend's aunts.
Okay.
So the guy was house sitting, so we went and hung out at
Oh.
his house. Well, one of the rooms the aunt had decorated, it was like a guest room. And he mentioned porcelain dolls earlier. So we all know like the porcelain dolls that have like the clown painted faces, but
Oh,
not
why?
not like your carnival clown, happy, silly clown. But like
Yeah.
your like, why are you? That's not
Or
funny
like-
at all. It's
or
like
like they
making
give
you
'em
laugh clown. That's
Big,
scary
bright,
clown.
red, rosy cheeks.
Like
But it's like black and white.
oh,
Okay, well this whole room was decorated in that, and
That is weird.
there was a dresser and a couple shelves and like this tall glass cabinet, like the one we broke and I got in trouble for. But it had had all these dolls in it. So one night, we all got this idea. We were all going to take a turn to see who could stay in that room the longest in pitch black.
Oh, no.
So you sit on the bed, you look at all the dolls, they shut the light off, close the door. Now, I was, if you want to just flip on the light, you can.
What did you win? Was
You
it just
didn't-
like,
yeah.
good job?
It
Yeah.
wasn't.
It's
It
like-
was just to see who could last the
Yeah,
longest.
it's
it
just
was a
kids
game.
having bragging rights.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I was afraid to turn the light on
Oh yeah.
and see that a doll had gotten on the bed with me.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting on the bed, just flip the light on. Next thing there's a doll laying on the. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done.
That's when you
Yeah.
jump out the window.
That's when you burn the house down.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, way.
sorry, your house is gone, ma'am, but your dolls were possessed. But we did it a few times, and it was just kind of like, I can't do it again because
Yeah.
And what's really creepy is
It's like in the movies where like they turn off the light, nothing happens, turn it off again, still nothing, and then the third time finally
like
something happens.
stupid happens.
Yeah.
But like the bathroom in the house, or one of the bathrooms, was at the other corner of that room. So if you had to go to the bathroom and the other one was occupied, you had to walk through that freaking room. So you'd go walk through that room, you'd shut that door, and it's like, I don't really want to open that door to go back through there because
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to fight through a wall of doll clowns.
Yeah.
You know.
Or it's gonna be like
Sprint.
like a Chucky movie where it's just standing there with a knife in hand, and you're just like, what? And it stabs you.
Honestly, I feel like while the creepy doll or a possessed doll is scary, the idea of Chucky, I don't know. I feel like it can just overpower it. I never really seen the movie.
Well, if he's got that same
Can't you
voice,
just
like
kick
that nasally New York.
Well,
Like-
if he, especially like the times he doesn't have the knife,
yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah.
bring it on, doll.
yeah,
It was exaggerated too with the strength. Like he could apparently like just pick up a bat and just knock people out.
Yeah.
It's like he's a doll. How much strength does he have?
Well, where does that strength even come from? He
Yeah.
doesn't have
Supposedly it's
muscles or
because
anything.
he's possessed.
yeah. By a serial
Which,
killer
but
this
but
time.
my question there is why that? Why
It's
that
like-
doll?
It's like his mind's in the doll, not his body too. you
Yeah.
know?
yeah,
It's like, well, you picked poorly here. You picked a weak doll to possess, and you have all the powers that the doll has,
Should have picked a grizzly bear.
or a weightlifting silverback.
yeah. There you go.
So while you were talking about that, Ben, there's another instance of when I have experienced ghost, but it's not bad. Those other two were bad. Those other two scared the crap out of me. This one, it does not. But at my parents, the house my parents live at now, every now and then you'll be walking around and you'll smell burning wood, and you'll smell it at one place, but you won't smell it another.
Huh.
And my dad's pretty sure that's the owner, the original owner.
Oh.
But you don't smell it all the time. It's like you'll walk downstairs and you'll like try to go outside, and it's like a foot radius of smoke.
Somebody's burning wood.
Oh, here's a horrible story I just remembered.
Oh boy.
So
Can't wait.
when I was younger and my family moved out of town.
You mean younger than you are now?
Yes, who would have thought? But we lived like really far out in the middle of the woods, and so like when it gets dark, it's pitch black outside, and like the nearest light is
Like-
like the house 2 blocks down the road.
Like
you know?
where I live, like
Yeah, like yours, but like
okay.
not as dense, covered in woods. Like
Okay.
there's open fields and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But one night, my mom, she thought she heard something, and I think it was raining or something. She was still in her bedroom, and I was sleeping in the living room at the time because there weren't enough bedrooms. So I got the couch bed. It was like one of those like little pull-out couches, which I loved, but like we got rid of it. And I'm still awake
Is that the
because
horrible part of the story?
no, I loved the couch. It was comfy.
And they got rid of it.
Yeah. But my mom, what woke me up was my mom getting up, and she walked into the living room to check on everything, and then she walked back to her bedroom. And then I was like, well, now I'm awake, so I'm just lay here and hopefully fall back asleep. And then a few minutes later, I hear banging on the window, like knocking. I'm like, what was that? And I was like, Mom? And she comes back out, did you hear that too? And I was like, yeah, what was that? She was like, I don't know, but I'm gonna go get your dad. So they like turn on all the porch lights are on, so they go check, and they're like, no one's outside. Well, great, I can't sleep now. Great, now I hope there's not a murderer outside or like breaks in. But I was like, that stuck with me for a while. I was like, what made that?
That's sketchy.
Yeah, and there were like no trees near the house, so it's like not like a branch knocking on it. It's like there's just an open field surrounding the house.
You think like it was a bird would have hit it maybe, or was it like a legit like knock knock?
It was like a knock. like a hand. I was
That's
like,
sketchy.
that is very sketchy. So that always stuck with me, and it's like that's one of those memories that's deep in your head, and like something has to traumatize you to bring it back.
Oh yeah.
So now, on that note, I remembered another phobia of mine: crackheads.
Oh.
That's just my daily life.
But it did remind me. It's not necessarily a horror story. It's more of a funny story, I guess. We have this big window. What's now the computer room, but it used to be our living room. But used to, that was the only computer I had in the house. So when I had to write an essay for my high school classes, I went in there. And it was, the reason why it's funny and not scary is it's during the day and whatnot, so you can see everything that's happening. But there was this one cardinal that lived near our house that would constantly run into that big window trying to get in for some reason. And he had left prints on the window.
Did you know it was the same bird?
It was like the same shape, so
Like
it
you-
had to be the same one.
Like you
We
knew
had
it
the same broken wing from the other time.
dang it, it's Greg all
Wing
over
was all
again.
crooked.
It would scare me every single time, but then I would just look over and I'd see like the imprint left, and it was so funny. Because you just hear a thud, and you just look over and you just see a bird print.
I'm surprised
right
it
on there.
wasn't dead by then.
Eventually, just gave either died or just like left.
I'm
It
betting,
was, like,
I'm
screw
betting he
this.
died. He went
Yeah.
home
Yeah.
and He laid down his nest and then realized he'd given himself 3 concussions. He's like,
Yeah.
"Ah, no." He just wanted to say hello, Colton. You're not letting him in the window.
Yeah, I don't know what he wanted inside my house. Like it wasn't like we had food. We had food outside the window, but it wasn't, you know.
You ever had a bird hit a window and just startles you?
One of them, I think, yes, but I can't remember. I think it was at work, not our work, but my other job. It just pegged the window, and I was like, oh god. I look over, because you can look over the bushes, and it's just like dying. And I was like, oh, alright.
Why'd you laugh when you said it was dying?
Because it was funny.
Monster.
I'm waiting for that day when, like, 'cause you know how, like, birds that, like, hit windows, they're never big enough to do anything to the window.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for, like, one day, like, a turkey vulture just kind of, like, swooping through the window and, like, just smash into the living room. Like, oh my god, what is in here that you wanted? You never hear about that, though.
Yeah.
It's always birds that can't get through the window.
Yeah.
Is it just because you think the bigger birds can just see better and they understand that
Turkey just
That's-
smashes
Yeah.
through.
not
A
a turkey,
turkey.
Oh.
turkey
A
vulture?
full-blown turkey.
Thanksgiving Day.
Listen, I got a story about a turkey vulture. This is
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
You know how big they can get.
I think so.
I mean,
yeah.
they can get.
Like pterodactyl size.
I mean, they're
like
they're
dinosaur.
pretty big. The couple of the guys I worked with at my last job, the head guy went out to his car one day, and there was a turkey vulture standing behind his car. Now, the turkey vulture standing up is taller than the
Back
trunk,
end.
the trunk of the car, and it actually was the car you used to have.
Oh, okay.
So think about
a Ford Fusion.
think about a bird that tall. Okay, so he goes back inside to get the other 2 guys. So you
Yeah.
got to come see this thing. So they all 3 walk out there. 3 grown men walk out there, and they're probably about 30 yards away from this thing. That thing starts walking towards them. The bird starts walking towards them, and I'm like,
Square
that
up.
bird was on a mission.
Get ready.
And it was out for
Get
blood. He's
ready.
like, they went back inside. I'm like, but he said that bird it didn't even fly, it didn't fly its wing, it just started walking towards them.
Starts pecking on the door.
And I'm like,
Come back out.
yeah, I'm glad I wasn't there.
You
'Cause-
wanted
Yeah.
to start, son?
but I think that bird had,
Give me the keys
I think
to the
that
car.
bird had blood on his mind.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's like, taking one of them down.
You start it, I'm gonna finish it.
Well, they talk about those geese on like college campuses that like
Oh,
bullied
yeah.
like the kids, but not because
Well,
it's so territorial of its pond.
They say
eat
that
kids.
they say that in
Yeah.
general. Just don't
just
mess
attack
with
kids.
geese.
So they just attack like they're not. I mean, they're kids. They're like
Well,
20 years old.
but you said eat.
They eat
Could
people.
eat pieces.
Did I say eat? What did
Yeah, you said
thought you
eat
said
kids,
bully.
and I was like,
I meant bullied.
okay,
Bullied the other kids.
okay.
Phrase.
Sorry, I'm not trying to.
Sorry.
I was like, good lord, how big are these geese?
But they always you always see the Snapchat stories of like someone in like one of your friends in college is like the biggest bully on campus, and you see this one goose just flying around like attacking people in the middle of campus, whatnot, because it's just so territorial of that area.
Yeah, it's always dumb when people like think it's funny. It's like I'm gonna walk up to this goose and just like hold, like take a picture with it, and it starts attacking
Yeah.
them. It's
It
like,
just-
what'd you expect?
He starts pecking their throat. And he's like, like, yeah, you got in his face. He's scared too. He's
Yeah.
defending his life. So
Good.
that brings a question up though:
Okay.
geese or grizzly? Who wins that fight?
The goose. Definitely.
How many geese would it take to take down a grizzly? All of them?
15.
All of them.
All of them, the entire world population of
I mean, like, I
geese.
feel like
50.
if you had like a large number, the bear would even like.
10 or 15.
Yeah, I feel like if it's 10 geese charging at a bear, it's like, I'm
It's just
done.
eventually
I don't
gonna get
care
annoyed
anymore.
with
It's like, you can have this fish, I don't care.
But what were you gonna say, Tater? Before you.
Oh, you guys ever so the local community college near us?
The one I go to.
And I went there for a year. The geese do walk. I've never been attacked, but they do walk up to you sometimes. Y'all ever thought about what would it do if you just kicked it in the head?
I think the rest would attack you.
Do you want to find out?
I'll go with you and kick one.
I'll film it.
Will it die? Do you think?
Ben will film it. I'll kick. You
I
walk.
bet not.
I think
Would that be animal cruelty or would it be hunting with my foot?
You tell me.
if it's
I'm gonna eat it. So
I mean, it's used to people, so you're probably tricking it to think I'm going to be nice to it. And it's like, oh, cool, he's probably got some bread.
Yeah.
Oh, he kicked me in the head.
Are they-
completely
That didn't
traumatized
taste
with my
anything like bread.
police get called. I swear, I just looked out the window and he said roundhouse and then kicked it in the head.
So are like the geese considered the college's property, Colton, or?
Yeah, they probably
Oh, are they?
Okay.
Point two.
Well then, I
Because
can't
I
kick.
doubt-
I disagree with that. They shouldn't have to live under the thumb of the college.
I don't
They
think
pay
they
too
consider
many
it the property
taxes.
at least. But I feel like if you attack any animal on campus, the college is gonna have a problem with that.
So if I brought a dog and someone like smacked it, it's like I get to.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you say any like?
Any like a squirrel or like a deer that wandered on it, if someone just came up to it like kicked it, I'm pretty sure they'll get in trouble about it.
How far do you think you could kick a squirrel?
What would they do? Like, let's say I get out of my car
Yeah.
and there's a squirrel in my car, and like he kind of jumps at me, and I grab him by the tail and like just slap him on the hood of the car to kill him or whatever.
Yeah.
Kick 'em.
Is that my problem? I mean,
I guess you can argue some. They probably get cited. For
I probably wouldn't say self-defense because
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't think the squirrel was gonna kill me anyway. But
Yeah.
I'm like, what would the charge be?
I don't know what the it'd probably be really minor to be, but they have to take a stance. Like we can't allow that.
You can't
just-
abuse or hurt or kill animals on this
Exactly.
property.
Yeah.
Do it across the street.
Yeah.
You walk out, they see you just like slamming a squirrel on the hood of your truck. Sir, please stop slamming the squirrel. Wait a minute, I'm almost done.
But you said
I
I'm
don't know
not.
why I did that voice.
He
You
bit my
sound like
nuts.
But you said as long as I'm not on the property, and you're swinging a goose by its neck.
you're like 10
that.
feet from.
Swinging a
You're
goose.
like across the street with like a squirrel and just swinging it over your head.
Hey, I'm gonna go across the street there from the college,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna start yelling and taunting the geese. Cross the street.
I
Come
dare
over
you.
here. Y'all film it.
Okay.
As soon as they come, the game on.
It's like a gang war.
We're all gonna have a nice new feather stuffed pillow.
You start representing your colors.
White.
Yes.
That's
Human.
my color.
Well,
Well, moving on to more like where it originally came off to with the horror stuff. Tater wants to talk about the new It movie that just came out recently.
yeah.
Did not see it.
You saw the first one, didn't you?
No.
Oh.
Did you see the
So-
old ones?
What is no?
You didn't see any of them?
So you didn't see the.
They're not
Tater?
interesting to me at all. Plus, it's a clown.
He hates clowns.
I know at least about the book, but I haven't seen any of the movies.
I've seen the old ones. I watched the old ones when I was a kid, and those scared the crap out of me.
Would you say the first old one was better than the new remake?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
because some about the original clown's voice also was
I
scarier.
guess you can see that.
Because that guy just has a weird voice, like the Skarsgård guy, who is the It clown now. It's not like his voice is regular, but the guy who had it before, it's not that it was creepy, and it's not it was regular. You just couldn't put a finger on what was
Yeah.
wrong with his voice, so that made it even worse.
I can see that. I just never. The kids were never put in a situation in the old ones where I actually felt like they were in danger. He was mostly just toying with them. It was like, oh, I'm in the shower with you. It's like, what are you gonna do about it? And then he just left.
What?
You don't remember that? He came out of the drain in one of the showers
Oh, I forgot about
because
that.
he was
Oh.
scared of being in the shower.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I did see that part of that. I mean, I've probably seen bits and pieces of the original.
But here's the thing: it shows him doing that, and it cuts away. It's like, what happened to that kid? Did he try to kill him? Did the kid just run away? Like, what happened?
He was just getting his soap back.
yeah.
He was just washing his back for him.
That's my problem with the original
The
one.
hand comes out of the sink, just. But anyways, so I watched the new one.
Yeah.
Not the second one, but the new first one when they were kids. Funniest thing I have seen in a while.
Yeah.
None of it scared me. It was more funny than anything.
I mean, there is
You
a lot of
enjoy
humor that they
so.
nailed.
You say you enjoy children being murdered.
Well, the funniest part, like some of them, I just don't understand why it's scary. So,
Yeah.
So you don't find the
there's a
part-
part where the kid's getting bullied, and spoiler alert, and the It Clown, he looks over and the It Clown's over there eating a human arm.
Oh yeah, and he waves.
Yes, that is scary. Yes,
Yes.
but then he waves at him
Yeah,
using the human
that
arm.
kinda
That's
kills
not
it.
funny anymore. That's hilarious.
That kind of
Yeah.
kills the mood. Why'd you have to wave?
Well, I think they have a weird mix of humor and
Dark humor, you mean?
dark humor in it, but there's a fine line there, and I think they treat it pretty good. Because when it is scary, I do feel it. Like when they go to the house, for example, there's a scene where Eddie, which is like the germaphobe kid, falls through and he hates getting sick. He hates breaking any bones. He falls through and he breaks his arm, and you can see it like
Oh,
snapped
yeah.
that way. And all of a sudden, the It Clown, because he's getting scared and freaked out, he comes out of the refrigerator and he starts messing with them, and he's like instantly that gets me. Like it's like no.
Why is it a clown?
And the story is he likes to kids mostly because he takes power not only from this eating us, but also just by
Or
the fear itself. And kids are a lot more afraid
Okay.
than us, and the reason he likes a clown because he can lure kids in easier, so he can get them to get close to him, freak them out, and then kill them basically. So that's why it's his favorite form. Also because clowns are absolutely terrifying, and the idea of a clown stalking you is,
Wasn't his
freaky.
weakness like battery acid or something?
No.
You know? Or maybe
Even
that's
if it was,
think that's
isn't
a-
that kind of everybody's weakness?
yeah, well, that was the regular. Oh yeah,
Earthquake!
that was the first one, right?
What?
The original,
Maybe it was battery acid. I can't remember.
like the way they defeated him.
No. It was something stupid like water or something.
Yeah, that's
No,
what I'm
The guy
saying.
lives in a
No, they
sewer,
literally
he never
just
got
took-
water on him.
They literally just took. He was a big spider monster, and they literally just
Yeah.
flipped him over and stabbed him. That was the
Yeah,
climax of the old one.
Yeah, that and the old one too. So I was scared the whole time. I was like, oh god, oh god, oh god. And then it turned out like he was like, oh, this is not my real form, and he popped out like a big spider monster, and I immediately was like, that is stupid.
yeah,
Like
that
it
doesn't
didn't
make
scare
sense.
me anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, way to go, Stephen King, turd.
It's like I was more scared of him when he was a clown.
Yeah.
And so this new one, they kind of mix those two because in the book he is a spider. That's his quote unquote true form or whatnot. But they know that the clown is the scariest part, so they make it to where Pennywise's face is on like a spider's body, and he has like hand. It's
See,
weird.
Again,
Well,
That's
that
still
is-
that's
that
still.
Thank
is
you
not
for
scary.
that description. I'm not sleeping tonight.
That's funny to me. That's not scary.
A
Yeah.
spider
Yeah,
with
People
a
complain
clown
about
head.
that little. The finale is not that good in this newest one. I'll admit that it doesn't quite live it up. But I find everything good in that point. It's worth watching.
See, me personally, it takes a lot for horror movies to scare me. Because even right then, I started laughing when you were talking about the kid breaking his arm. I laughed in the theater. Because how unfortunate is that?
And everyone
Not
just
only
looks
are you
at you.
being chased by the clown, but you break your arm too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone in the theater's just looking at you, just like, what's wrong with this guy?
So you weren't,
Yeah, pretty
okay,
much.
Did it get you a little bit when he was coming out of the refrigerator?
No. What is he doing in the refrigerator first off?
Well, that's why it's
Getting a drink.
scary.
Getting a drink. Hey man, you want a bush? I got some
Well,
in
it's
here.
just because that was the only object in the room he could have like come out of in like a scary.
I got
I'll
it.
be back.
I still hate your explanation and defending of the boat scene with the kid
What are you talking
in
about?
the drain where he
Oh,
loses the paper boat.
goes down the
I'm like,
drain.
the stupid kid is like, you're telling me you're telling me you see a clown in the drain. You're not like, oh, I should probably run. No, give me my boat back.
Have
I'll
you- have you-
climb down.
Have you seen the movie?
No,
at that point, that
I've
kid
seen
was
clips
busted
though.
up.
Okay, so in
And-
Hold on.
in-
I can, without even seeing the movie, I can explain to you why it happened.
okay,
That stupid
Christian.
scene. Yeah,
Kids do stupid things.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
and
stupid
he did.
reasons.
While I would argue that this version of it is a lot more scarier and less trustworthy, he did do a pretty good job at the beginning of like kind of breaking those barriers. He even made the kid laugh and made him get closer. And right when he was about to point, he's like, maybe I should leave or whatnot. It's like, but don't you want this boat? I mean, it's your, you know Billy was gonna get mad at you if you don't bring this boat back.
Again, there's a
and
clown in the sewer.
He's 5.
As a how?
Here's the okay. Here's
What 5-year-olds are you talking to, Colton? Where they're this dumb?
Okay.
A lot of kids actually.
Most of them.
Most
I know
5-year-olds
12-year-olds that would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would do that, man.
Okay, besides him.
But I mean, most kids are just not that logical. They just come up as like, he doesn't seem that bad. I need to get my boat back because I need, I want to impress my brother so much.
That scene just kills the movie. Like
I don't know
instantly.
why you can't get past that.
Yeah.
It's just
Because he's a 5-year-old kid who makes a dumb decision.
I just hate over dramatically stupid people. You know.
But he wasn't it wasn't that big of an oversight. It was just like,
Kinda is.
Plus,
How?
he had already friended him a little
Okay,
bit.
so if it wasn't, let's go through a couple of options. If it wasn't the clown, if it was just some random guy in the sewer, what's the worst thing that could have happened? He doesn't fit through the sewer. He just wants his boat back.
I would be more worried about a random guy in the sewer. Like I said, again, I
he's
have a fear
5.
of crackheads. That guy's a crackhead. I'd rather see a clown in the sewer than a crackhead. Because
I mean,
crackheads can bend
I feel like
bars.
what they could have done with that scene is like use that as like the introduction for Pennywise, like better, where it's like
It horrified me. I don't
he
know.
like he befriends him by like giving him back his boat, and it's like, hey, if you want to talk to me again, just meet me back here. And it's like, okay, and then he leaves, you know,
But
like, because it gives that suspense of like he's slowly like lulling him into security, you know, like thinking he's safe.
But what's more scary, him being like, "Oh, come meet me at this place," or "I'm gonna bite your arm off and like pull you in while you're trying to crawl away."
Well, as soon as he says, "Come meet me at this place," then we have an episode of To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom and Dad, I'm gonna go meet the clown in the sewer, like he said. What? No, you're not. That's why that would have stopped.
There's a scene very similar in this newest one where he lures a little girl in a baseball game and behind the bleachers in a dark alley. It's it's worse.
That's just more sketchy.
That just sounds like a normal, average thing that happens nowadays.
What he did was he
I hope not. Hey, you want to go to the back of the baseball game? It's okay, I'm 40-something.
But the way he does it, he has this little firefly. He can take on many forms, and he takes it, and he lands on her cheek, and she catches her attention. She's like 5, and she's following it around, and she follows it all the way to this dark alley. All of a sudden, you see hands clap over the firefly, and Pennywise's face appears in this little light. And it's like, "Hello there." It's like, "Oh no."
I guess Colin's just more afraid of things than we are.
What?
It's not. It's creepy.
See, I would have
man.
laughed at
No,
that too.
I get that.
The
It's,
whole.
it's creepy, but it's not.
Yeah, that makes me laugh when I think about that.
How are you, friend?
Well, we're not trying to decide if it makes you laugh or not. He's trying to explain to you why a 5-year-old would just go along with something
Yeah.
like that.
You don't think? Okay,
You
for that
at
example.
5, you made perfect decisions.
Not perfect decision.
Okay, then.
I would jump off a skateboard onto like pavement and break my knees, you know.
I will.
Dumb decision.
Yeah, but I wouldn't follow a man into
But
it
what's your excuse for that, though?
because I thought Jackass was a cool movie and I wanted to recreate it.
You didn't just think it was. It is a cool
It
movie.
is.
Johnny Knoxville is my hero.
Yeah, he was.
Man, Steve-O was a cool guy back then. You found out that he was a cool
Yeah,
Probably why he did
he
that.
OD'd several times.
Something tells me it was pain management.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, you look at the stuff that's happened to that guy over
Oh,
the
yeah.
years. It's like,
There's a documentary and it gets like really depressing when it goes into his backstory. I'm like, well, now I feel bad for Steve-O, but I still like his stunts.
Still want him to do dumb stuff.
Yeah.
can you go back to not being depressed and do more stupid stuff to hurt yourself? You know, back when people cared about you.
Go back to the Wild
God
Boys.
dang.
Well, I'm just saying. No one knows where he's at now, you know?
That's true. Has he been on Dancing with the Stars?
Not yet. Or maybe he has.
I feel like if you're on Dancing with the Stars, you've hit rock bottom.
That is rock
Like
bottom.
celebrity rock bottom.
Some of them made a comeback after that. Got the image out
Some
there.
do.
But, it's not a good situation to be in. I'll admit that.
So, the It
What-
movie.
Yes. What were you curious about?
I was more curious about if it's actually a horror movie or if it's just funny.
Both. It's just like, it's the much same style of the first one.
It's like horror comedy, thriller, kind of.
Yeah, because Richie is played by Bill Hader this time. nails. I mean, he's just hilarious. Every scene he says cracked me up. Like I was rolling in my seat. And I lost my train of thought. But there's also points where I got legitimately scared, like the scene where the little girl got lured by Pennywise. I don't know. It kind of just mixes those two things together.
Man, it takes a lot for a horror movie to scare me.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, at that movie, at the first It movie, again, spoiler alert, but the little kid puts his hand down there to get the boat and gets his like shoulder ripped off, his arm from the shoulder ripped off, and then he starts crawling away, and everyone else was like, ah! And I'm dying laughing. Because why would you crawl away? You're already going to bleed out. You might as well just sit there and make it end faster.
So you're not going to go into a fight or flight mode if your arm gets ripped off?
No, you're going to go into shock.
Probably, but is it more...
So you're telling me if your arm got ripped off, you'd have the common sense enough at that point to be like, well, might as well just die.
No, but I'm saying...
I'm not going to eat... No, I'm not going to try. If arm got ripped off, I'm out.
If anything, I'm just gonna be writhing in agony, just like
That's what
rolling.
I'm saying,
I'm just gonna roll back and forth.
But he was also. I mean, it has.
What did you say?
What?
What did you say?
Just
No,
rolling.
he did the.
I did the
Colton did
he's-
the motion of the
he's
kid
laughing.
crawling.
Yeah, because you can only use one arm, so that's what. See,
Tater, shut up.
I'm with Tater. I find that stuff hilarious too.
See, this is where I think y'all are twisted. Because it's not, I mean, it's not funny.
yeah.
Kind.
It's not actually, but...
It's more misfortune. It's funny because it's misfortune.
Okay,
Like,
I can see
like
where
one
it's
of-
like.
Again, it's a movie too, so it's like it's fictional, so it's like I don't have to feel
wait,
bad
wait,
for
it's
the.
not real?
Yeah, it's a documentary,
Oh, no, they lied to me.
but it's like it's a fake kid dying, so I don't have to feel as bad.
I understand that.
So because it's not real, there's no feeling it.
Yeah,
Why would you watch movies at all then?
to rip on them
So
like a
do you
mean
get-
person.
has any movie recently made you cry or like feel any emotion?
No.
He doesn't have those feelings.
Have you cried
Okay.
at a movie before?
Yeah, he did.
I-
Go ahead and say it.
I did cry.
Star Wars: Return of
once
the
at
Jedi.
End of Infinity War, and once at the end
Did
of
you
really?
Endgame.
You big
You-
nerd.
Dang, man.
I did. It got to me.
Would you like a blanket and hot cocoa and Addison to cuddle
Listen,
you?
Endgame, I cried a little bit harder, just because when they. Oh wait.
Would you like me
Spoiler
to play
alert for-
violin?
Spoiler alert for
You don't need to give
Endgame.
a spoiler alert for that movie.
I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, it's your fault. But when they put Iron Man's original, reactor thing on the flowers, it was floating. I lost it. I don't know. There's something about it. Just like just everything sucked.
My sweet
Iron Man
baby
dies.
boy.
Yeah, Iron Man.
What if the flowers just sank? Like, as soon as they put them out in the water, they're like, "This is for you, Tony," and it just sinks right to the bottom.
Like it's supposed to
Or
be
what-
all heartwarming.
You know, it would have been really great as a crossover.
What?
As the flowers float out into there, Pennywise comes up out of the lake and just takes a dump on them right there.
Just takes a dump.
There's some silly clown laugh and just disappears again.
Swan dives back
Or the
in.
poop comes out and it sounds like a sly whistle.
That's- meanwhile, Colton's like still in shock and crying in the theater. You just like go up to him, like next to his ear, and it's like, "How does that make you feel?"
No, I don't
Yeah.
think. I mean, yeah, I don't think I cried at Infinity War Endgame, but
Yeah.
there are movies that stir feelings in you. And if you watch movies just to rip on them,
Yeah.
you're still doing that to feel good about ripping on them. So that's what movies are for. It's just that it brings out different emotions in people.
And I would say if you didn't find the first one scary, it's not a good chance you're gonna find the second one
Oh,
scary.
I'm still gonna go see it.
Now,
Yeah,
see-
but I think
But
you're
I'm
gonna
just gonna
enjoy it.
laugh.
See, I don't like movies that have any kind of kids suffering, and mainly because I have kids.
Yeah.
And
I
that's-
guess that's the difference between me and Tater.
I
We don't
think
have
it's
children.
Colton too, as far as I know.
I don't have children.
Okay.
As far as I know.
So I'm saying it's weird because I think before I had kids,
Yeah.
me and my wife would be more willing to watch certain movies that might have something happening to a kid, or
Yeah.
even shows like
Dexter.
like Dexter and
Yeah.
SVU, like Special Victims Unit, stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like that stuff was okay, but then like once we had kids, it was like, man, I really don't want to watch this because it really makes me think about my own kids, and I don't want that to happen
Exactly.
Yeah.
to my kids. You can still be a weird person. I'm not saying you can't.
Look, I'm a psycho, but at least I haven't done anything psychotic yet.
but,
Keyword is yet.
Yet. Like,
What is the? I'm sorry.
no, you go on.
Just trying to segue into something else.
Okay.
So, what is the scariest horror movie that you all have seen?
See, horror movies don't get me that much. I think that's why I like it so much.
I guess
'Cause
this is
at least
just-
I can laugh during some parts of it and be because when the scary parts happen in that movie, it hits me a little bit harder. Because I get bored in horror movies. a lot of times.
Arachnophobia.
It's like,
Really?
Well, I was 9 years old when I saw it when it came out in theaters. And for some reason, my dad thought it'd be great to take me and my brother to see it. My brother's 6 years older than me. He lets my brother sit behind me the whole movie.
Oh, that's messed
What do you think
up.
my brother did the entire movie? So yeah, spiders can suck it,
so this isn't my answer, but
just like vegetarians.
has anyone seen the movie The Mist?
Wasn't that a show on Netflix or was
Yeah,
it
it
just
No.
was a show for a bit.
Well, first
But
there
it
was the
a-
movie.
It was a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find
It was a movie.
Go on, Tater.
I've been trying to find it because I've been watching the show and I want to see how the movie is. What are you doing?
The movie's really good.
Is it good?
Yeah, the ending's really messed up. I don't think Ben would like it. Where,
Oh, great. Some kid dies.
No.
do you want me to spoil it?
I
Or-
know how it ends. I already looked it up.
Okay. If anyone doesn't care about the spoiling, what happens is a family, they escape and they take two people with them. I think like an elderly man and woman. And the guy, he's got his wife and his son. They escaped the grocery store because they were like, we don't want to be in here anymore and wait for someone to rescue us. We're just going to take our chances and leave. And they're like the only ones with a gun. And it's like a revolver, so it's only got like a few bullets. So it's, yeah, good luck with that. They're driving down the road and they're seeing like the remnants of the town after it's like been destroyed by the monsters and all this stuff. The car breaks down. They start to panic. What do we do? What do we do? Because as soon as you walk out into the mist, somehow the monsters detect you and they just like instantly prey on you. The dad and the mom, they quietly just look at each other, and then the old people look back and forth at each other like, what are they thinking? And they look at the gun and they just nod. And then the camera pans away to the outside of the car and you just hear 5 gunshots and flashes. And then it cuts back to the inside of the car. Everyone's dead except the guy. And he holds the gun up to his head. And it turns out he used all the bullets.
So what I saw from it or heard from it was the guy, he was gonna do it.
Yeah, he puts it
and
in
then
his
as
mouth.
soon as he about pulls the trigger, the army comes in.
Well, that's the unedited version.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, the original release was they took that part out. And it gave that suspense of like, what now? Is that the end? Because everyone's like, really? You guys just ended the movie like that with that dark ending? And then they released the unedited version and they added that back in where he tries to kill himself and he's like, oh god, I'm out of bullets. So he walks out into the mist like, maybe a monster will kill me. And then it turns out the army rolls up and he's like, no. Like he just killed his family 5 seconds before the army could have saved him.
See, that's the moment where I would laugh. Because
And I
that's
was-
just very misfortunate.
Yeah, and a lot of people enjoyed the first ending because it was just like this ambiguous like,
wacky.
yeah.
Not only did you have to put up with monsters, but you also had that happen to you, man. Your life
What kind of car was it?
It was like what is it? Damn it.
That's the question.
You're right. That's what I'm asking.
Something wagon. What's the name of those
Like
cars?
a station wagon.
Station wagon. That's what it was.
See, that's the thing too. In that situation, you got to pick a better vehicle there.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take the old beat up station wagon. That'll get us real far. Looks reliable.
But yeah, a lot of the people complained because they were like, you should have just left it at the original ending. It was way better. 'Cause
The
it-
dark ending.
Yeah, it's more ambiguous and darker because it's like, well,
I
now
don't know. The fact that,
The fact that he's gonna live the rest of his life knowing that he killed his
Yeah.
family 5
Yeah,
seconds before the
I
army got
I
Yeah.
prefer
there.
that one.
I think at that point he would have begged one of the officers, "Can I just get one more bullet from you?" That's Here's,
Can I see that pistol real quick?
Hey, can you move that tank a few more inches over my head?
Here's a whole
Just
bunch of
lying
monsters.
on the ground.
There's a whole
Just-
bunch of
just keep
monsters
coming,
hiding inside the
keep
station
coming.
wagon. I'm gonna get in there and scare them out.
Yeah.
You just fire the tank at it. You
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
just blow it up. I'll be inside.
So is
But-
that the scariest movie?
No, but that was just something I thought of because it was a really good movie.
Well, it is arachnophobia for me, mainly because of the brother screwing with me. And I think honestly, it's probably where a lot of my fear of spiders came from.
I guess maybe
But
Blair
you know.
Witch for me.
I don't like the original. I like the.
Why not?
I like the remake actually. I really enjoyed the remake.
They made a remake?
Yeah, Blair Witch.
Yeah, with like GoPro stuff, that freaked me out a
Oh,
little
I
bit.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
pretty
it's
well
just
done.
like it looks
I-
Did
better.
they finally show like the monster?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
What does it look like?
Like towards at the very end, they show like it like charges a person because they turn around and look at it.
Is it a monster or what is it?
It's like-
the
Like
witch.
a demon?
But it's
Do you know Slender Man?
it's like that.
Oh, is
Yeah,
it like
it's kind
that?
of like that, where it's tall and lanky and
Yeah,
just like,
it's even more freakishly. Like, it has really long, skinny legs
Yeah.
and really long arms down to like its knees.
yeah,
and
and
whatnot.
it's like really skinny, so you see it's like
It's
rib cage
freaky.
and all this
Oh
stuff.
my god, okay, this is why that movie really got to me. There's a scene where one of the girls in the remake one is crawling through a dirt
Oh,
tunnel in the mud, whatnot, and again, I'm claustrophobic.
And
Freaked me out.
the
Like,
creatures
I
ch-
could not do it. Like,
Like-
you could hear it
That was-
chasing her in the background.
That was
Oh
the
my
second
God.
Blair
This
Witch,
thing?
right?
Yeah, it's
yeah,
I
that's
found
the-
a picture
That's
of
the
it.
thing.
Anyone who's ever
Tater
played
looked up a picture.
anyone who's ever played Dead Space,
Oh,
it's one of those monsters.
those games
Yeah.
are great.
Those are great games. They should do another one.
Like the first
Please,
Blair
EA
Witch,
Sports,
It didn't-
Or EA.
I was just
The original.
when it was over, I was literally mad
Why?
Well, the reason it freaks someone out.
because I like, what did I just watch?
Yeah, you never find out what happened.
It was pretty. I'm just saying, for me, it wasn't scary at all.
I
I
think-
mean, I'll give you this. When they find all the little things hanging in the woods, the little dolls or whatever, I'm like, it's creepy. It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
I think what made that movie work so well is people thought it was a real thing because they actually released like missing people reports of the
Yeah.
actors and whatnot. So people thought it
Yeah.
was like actually
Well,
documented.
And I think
Yeah.
that when the movie first came out, it wasn't the first, but it did revolutionize that genre of like motion camera where first
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
and it's like pretty much video recording footage found. The whole paranormal series, that terrible movie series, or like the first one was okay, but then they started making one year after year.
Yeah.
It's like this family's and then it's like supposedly all linked together, and it's like,
yeah.
okay, but I don't care after the fifth one.
What's frustrating about the paranormal movies is the ones I've seen at least. I can't remember which ones I've watched, but most of the movie, like the first hour and a half out of this 2-hour movie, the ghost is not really doing anything. It's mostly the parents or like fake jump scares, like
Yeah.
freaking you out, and like nothing's really happening. Like maybe like a chair move
Well, again,
in the
the
last 30 minutes.
The first
and
one was
whatnot.
just that couple of the guy and the girl, and
Yeah.
I liked it because it's like you're just watching it through his recording of his bedroom
remember it
and a
now.
few couple like security cameras,
Yeah.
and it's like the ghost was pretty much just messing with their paranoia.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like what's going on, and the guy was finally like, all right, I'm gonna go through all
Like the
this recording.
scene, while nothing happened, I do admit that it is very suspenseful when he goes to the attic after he hears a noise from it. Because, like,
Yeah.
he heard a noise in the hallway, like running, and he hears something climb his ladder and enter the attic. And he immediately grabs the camera, starts going up there, and the wife's like, "What are you doing?" And he stood up there in the attic for like a good 30 seconds,
Mhm.
and it freaked me out. Like, nope, he's gonna die, and nothing happened.
Yeah,
he
it's all,
just,
like,
he just
pitch
walked
black.
right
Why
back.
would you
died.
do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you even
Yeah.
bother? I'm like, can we just shut the attic?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first thing I'm doing is nailing that thing shut and then burning the house down.
And then it's like
Stupid ghost using stairs. I'll
Towards-
show him.
towards the end of the movie, they're like, oh, we finally got rid of the ghost. We exorcised it. My wife's safe.
We took
And-
it to the gym with the silverback gorillas.
Yeah.
My question was that the whole movie too is like, why are you staying here? I know like the
Oh, yeah.
boyfriend was like very stubborn about it, but you
Well-
could obviously tell that the girlfriend or the wife was very traumatized
Well,
towards
they
the end of that
well
movie.
they explained it in the movie as like apparently this demon had been following the girl her whole life, and it's like that's
Oh.
why. But they didn't find that out till like halfway in because it's like they found an old family photo of hers that supposedly should have burned down with her old home, and it's like, oh, so this demon knows you, and wants you, not me.
Yeah.
And it's like I can leave you, but he decides to stay because he's a loving husband.
Yeah.
You ever want to try to sleep in a house where you think stuff's going on? Have 3 cats.
Oh, that's the worst.
Cats are so loud too.
It's funny. Literally, like minutes after I go to bed, they all three just start wrestling out in the living room. Just you hear them, they're like growling and meowing at each other. I'm like, why can't you do that while everybody's up?
Because they're afraid of you, Ben.
I think it's why ghosts don't freak me out that much is because I have dogs and one sleeps in the room with me. And you know, it's if he can't sense what's ever in the room with me, then you know it's probably okay. I'm probably safe. It's like I don't know.
I did have one fear like last year with my cat. I was late. It was late at home alone, and I was like, you know what? Where's the cat? I kind of want to like just see where he is. And then I thought I was hearing noise around. I was like, I wonder where because there was like a little noise around, but I was like, it's raining outside, so it might be that. And I see the cat, and I go to pet it, and it starts like backing away from me and like looking off in the distance. I'm like, what are you looking at? It's like, is there something behind me? And it's like looking past me. I'm like, all right, thanks for like setting that in my back of my head. So I go back to my bedroom. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna leave.
The cat's just moody.
Yeah.
I do have a very scary story from when I was growing up. It wasn't like ghost related, but the fact I thought it was at the time was really freaky. I grew up with a lot of dogs, and one of them was completely, black. And they would sometimes be in the house, sometimes not. Most time not, depending on if it was raining outside or not.
Wait, isn't one of your dogs blind or deaf?
Both for that one, but she can see, but not up to a certain.
Christian.
Not past like
door.
That's past like 5 feet. She can tell there's a wall in front of her, but it's probably just a blur to her.
Well, I was taken aback when he was like both.
He could remember which one, and
No,
you're like,
well,
oh, it's
it's-
both.
She's definitely deaf because you can clap all day next to her. She
Yeah,
can't
you
figure
showed
out-
us that. I
But-
didn't know she was blind though.
That's why I think last time you were over at my house, the last time we recorded the podcast, she was so you sat where my stepdad usually sits. I think she thought it was him. She's like she knows someone's there. She
Wait
doesn't
a
know.
minute.
She
She
doesn't
still has a sense of smell, right?
You smell dirty.
bad, very very bad sense of smell. But yeah.
Oh, sweet.
But
But go on. I
Oh.
cut you short.
But I was about, I think, 8 years old. We had this really old dog named Harley that was completely black. Hold on, I'm going to pause because they're laughing about something.
showing us a picture.
Don't. It's
It's-
no.
It is not
What is-
tasteful.
No, it's very not tasteful.
But it has to do with animals, so it's kind of safe.
No,
But-
I'm sorry, Colton. I shouldn't.
all right.
Go on.
Forgive me.
Yeah, but anyway, he's a very dark dog,
Senpai.
and I didn't realize he was in the house. I went to go use the bathroom late at night next to the living room. As I was walking out, the only light was coming from the bathroom. Everything else is pitch black. I could see the rocking chair in front of me move like that, like start
Oh
rocking,
my
but in front of
God.
me. I was like, "What is that?" I stopped dead in my tracks. I was like, "What is that?" All of a sudden, I see eyes peering at me, and it starts to walk slowly towards me from the ground. I got so scared, I fell on my butt as like a kid, and then I realized it was my dog, and he was just like, "Hi, how you doing?" I'm like, "What are you
Hey,
doing?"
man, what's wrong?
Yeah, it's just like, oh my. But you talk about like I couldn't even scream. I was so scared. I just fell down. I didn't know what to do. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it gives me a little. I'm shook. Not like scared, but a little anxious. And this hasn't happened in a while because my kids are getting a little older. But like when Taryn was like 4 or 5, she'd get scared. Well, she'd hop out of her bed and she'd just run right down the hallway to our room. And something about them little footsteps just barreling towards your room. It's like, man, I really hope that's my dog.
You start to hear a
Because if
little boy
somebody-
giggling.
Somebody else, if something else comes through that door, we're gonna have a problem.
I know I used to freak my mom out a little bit. I'm not sure if you can relate to this at all. If I would get scared by something or whatnot, if I said like, if I heard like a thud, whatnot, it's like I think someone's knocking on my window, whatnot. It would really freak her out also because she would immediately try to believe
Yeah.
me and whatnot. I'm not sure if you have like an experience like that.
My son, he's had some things where he has these real bad, like, I don't want to call them nightmares, but it's almost like night terrors. But
Yeah.
But this one happened. This was recently. I told you about this one where he said he was looking outside and he kept asking me, and he was like still half asleep. He said, "Do you see the face outside in the bushes?"
No, I don't remember this.
You remember me telling you about that?
No, you've told me about his
Oh,
night
man.
terrors where like he's not terrified, but like he'll wake up in
Well,
like a big shock.
Yeah, he had a fever, so he had some medicine he was taking, and he was half asleep still. And he comes in our room and he's telling us there's a face outside in the bushes. And of course, my wife's like, my wife's like, you need to go see what that is. I'm like, No, I don't. I'm
don't
like, why?
The
I don't
woods are down
I
there.
don't want to go see that.
Yeah.
But I did, I didn't see anything, and I figured it's, I mean, obviously I'm like, it's got, he's sick, he's got a fever, he's kind of got a little bit of a nightmare here. But just for him just to come to you and dark a house, and he's like, man, there's a face out in the bushes, and I'm like, really hope there's not. Because I'm not going out there, first off. I'll go look out the door and look, but as soon as I see a face, it's like, oh, there's 911, and I'm going to call your Uncle Gary to get up here with the shotgun.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to take care of this problem.
When I was a kid, like, I've gotten really desensitized to it over time. But the slightest thing would freak me out, and it would really freak my mom out. I remember one time I was sitting in the living room, and the window was cracked, and I heard, like, one of my dogs, I guess, in, like, the bushes outside. I immediately ran to her, like, there's someone in the window right next to her, like, someone's messing with me and whatnot. And she got so freaked out, she, like, grabbed a gun and whatnot, went outside, and was just on the porch. It was just,
And you guys might experience this at some point. You might have with having youngsters around you as far as at your
Siblings.
house. But when they, you ever had a kid wake you up this close to your face?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. You're sleeping.
Yeah.
You're laying on your side, you're cozy, you're sleeping.
Or when they, like, shake you in a, like, panic. And
But
it's
that's the
like,
thing, they'll tap you, and you'll start to open your eyes, and their face is right here. And you kind of like, oh my God. And then they get scared, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not mad. You were right here when I opened my eyes. And no one's ever that close to me when I wake up,
My first instinct is just like, what do you want? And then they're like, this thing outside. And it's like, oh, okay, fine. I get it.
Know. It's like there's always that thought in the back of your head. It's like, what if there is? I think that's what's scary.
No, my thought is always they're overreacting. And
well, I'll be brave. I mean, I can be brave for my kids. I mean, when it comes to that stuff, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
But don't think it. I'm like, when they're like, hey, there's something outside, I'm anxious as all get out.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want to know. I'm like, I swear I hope it's a bush or a cat or a dog or something outside. Because if it's a person, it's going to be a whole other level of problems.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to sleep.
My thought process is always, I'm now awake, so I'm annoyed and angry. So I'm hoping something's out there so I can take my aggression out on it with a bat. And I'm like, you're the reason I'm up now. Yeah. And then when there's nothing, I'm like, now I'm even angry. I'm like, look what you did.
And
You
that's
woke
when
me up.
The Chihuahua gets.
That's when Biscuit comes in the hand.
Biscuit.
But yeah,
But that's.
I'm always hoping for like one day for them to be right, so I can be like, finally, I get to take all this years of aggression out.
My chance.
You remember when they were having all the people that were dressing up as clowns?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when that was like a big phase?
They still kind of do that around Halloween.
Thinking, where I live? If that ever happened, if one of my neighbors did that on the road back to my house, I would have lost it. I would have ran him over.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't even thought about it.
In this state we live in, it's just entirely dangerous. It's like, dude, people just have guns all the time. It's like you're going to get shot by someone.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, is the people doing that. I'm like, do you realize the risk you're putting yourself at? Because you're really just tempting fate right there. Because I tell you what, if you dress up as a clown and you go hang out near a playground at a school to scare kids, and then some dude who has a concealed carry permit shoots you, I don't feel bad for you.
Yeah.
You dropped the ball on your own.
I think there were a few instances where some people got shot and like stabbed a few times.
Well, there was a couple where people got run over.
Yeah, that too.
And man, like, have you noticed like
You can't
the
really feel
videos
bad.
and stuff where people have done this and like have recorded like them like retaliating at people?
Oh yeah.
It's in rough neighborhoods. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's-
man,
It's
and
always
it's always in cities. It's like, why are you doing this in the roughest part of the neighborhood in a city?
Yeah, do you think that gang cares about your clown outfit? They're gonna beat the crap out of you.
I remember this one video. It was like a group of teenagers or something in a car, and they saw the clown down the road, and it's like, go get him! And they just like start chasing him with a car. I'm like, look what you did to yourself.
Yeah.
Of course, that might have been unfortunate. That might have just been a guy who was going to a job.
Yeah.
Like that's what his job. He was going to a kid's birthday party, and he gets run over and attacked by teenagers because they're thinking it's one of them clowns.
Yeah.
Let's go get him.
Oh boy, can't
What
wait
was
to
really-
start my first day of my new job. Oh look, the kids are already coming over here.
Wait, what's that? No, no, and then bat to the head.
Oh, my
And every
God.
time they hit him, his nose honks.
Please stop.
God damn.
His little
It's
like
like in The
flower on
Walking
his shirt
Dead.
squirts water.
It's like in The Walking Dead how his face gets crushed in.
Oh God.
But it keeps making that noise.
Stupid clown.
What was really scary about that era when we saw those kind of videos was not like the ones that were like obviously just trying to get attention, because they kind of got what it was coming from. It was like the ones in the more rural areas, like here, where it was like it was the clown they spotted near a park in the woods, and when they tried to confront it, it just went back to the woods, never was seen again. It
Yeah,
was
and
just
like I
what
don't
was
expect
that?
him to get out and like go search for it in the
What was
woods.
the-
It's like,
What was the reason for all that again?
I don't think
like-
they ever established
No,
what
I
the
think it was just a trend, just like any
People
other
just-
internet thing.
people just being stupid again.
Yeah. But what was really creepy about, there was even some reports around here, people like some clowns had candy and stuff in parks. I'm like, no,
yeah.
no.
I can't explain what I would do. To
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. It's because one guy did it in some state a while back, and then it caught traction. That's what it was. And people were like, "Has anyone like?" There was a news report about it, and then people were like, "Hey, I want to do that in my hometown." So
Yeah.
it's like everyone started doing it because one guy.
But what is wrong with you if that's the first thing that comes to your mind? Oh, the guy's standing at a park trying to
Yeah.
get kids to come over
Yeah.
by giving them candy and holding a machete?
Yeah.
Let's do that this weekend.
That guy standing under one of the street lights
Yeah.
in like the middle of the night.
It seems like a good idea. It'll be fun.
Have you heard about the new trend lately? Because you know there was security cameras that caught people on clowns in the first trend.
Yeah.
In the new trend, it's a little more silly. People put a TV on their head, walk
Oh.
up, and they give you the TV and they wave and they walk
Okay.
away.
So
It's just an old box TV.
so
I don't know why.
I guess I'll explain this for the viewers
so
and
funny.
Tater and Ben since they don't know about this. So I think it was actually Ohio. This happened. This happened twice in either the same neighborhood or two neighborhoods close by. But this one guy, he was leaving old CRT TVs on people's doorsteps. The first time it happened, he did it to like 13 people. The second, and no one caught him because he does it like at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the second time he did it, he went like far and beyond, and he dropped over 55 CRT TVs on people's doorsteps, and this was like a much more like well-developed neighborhood, so like people have front cameras in their house.
Cameras and stuff.
Yeah, and the guy knew this obviously, so he's wearing a tracksuit with a CRT TV as his mask,
Yeah.
so you can't see his head or anything.
And it's so funny. No, I don't know. There's something so goofy about it. He just waves.
So-
he sets the TV down and, he just
and
leaves.
I'm just hearing this from Colton. I didn't know other people were joining in on this.
I'm
but
assuming some people are going to try to do it and copy it.
I guess other people are trying to do this, but people were in the town were just trying to figure out who the heck's this guy doing this and why. And like some of the theories are he's just like trying to get rid of the CRT TVs because you can't like take them to a junkyard because you have to pay them to get rid of it.
I
there's-
can tell you why. It's because of the attention he's getting right now. It's a reason
yeah,
why we're
and
talking about
another reason is he's probably just doing it for the attention. And like again, the cops were and the police are saying, well, they can't really arrest him because he's not really doing anything
it.
illegal
Give him
yet.
a gift. Like,
Yeah,
you
for
just-
real.
Well, it's not like it's like it's the same reason why you see like mattresses on the side of the road everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't. No one's wanting to take a mattress to dump and pay for it, so it's like just drive out to some country road somewhere, throw it out of the truck, and
Yeah.
go back home.
Some
Yeah.
people were just like freaked out, and some people were kind of like thankful. It's like, well, I got a TV.
It's like, I mean, I guess it's kind of scary that someone walked up to your porch, but it didn't
Yeah.
seem threatening. I don't know.
Well, when I first heard the news, in my mind, what went through was you kind of chose like a horrible time to do this because like in this day and age when like there have been bombings, it's like I
yeah,
wouldn't
that's
trust
weird.
someone leaving a package on my doorstep.
I got a package for your doorstep.
All right. Like I guess it's funny, but also at the same time, it's like maybe don't do that when people are scared nowadays.
I mean, it could go pretty far and just say, how about just leave people's personal property alone? You don't know who lives in that house, don't go there. That's just, but then again, that's being normal and fair. But I don't know.
So, people, viewers, this has been a very spooky episode tonight. I'm gonna go to bed terrified later with all these horrible thoughts.
What's coming?
I'm not meaning to bring us back full circle, but I'm genuinely curious, and I still haven't gotten an answer from two of you.
Okay.
What's your favorite horror movie, or what's the scariest horror movie?
Oh, I thought I said it. It was Blair Witch.
Blair Witch
Oh,
was
you said
his.
Blair Witch.
Mine's Arachnophobia.
I guess if I had to pick one, it would either be the first Conjuring movie. That one got me pretty good, or this new It Chapter 2.
Really?
Can I change mine?
Did you
Sure.
cry at the end of it?
Ernest Goes to Camp.
Dustin checks out.
That would just be,
That's my
that's
favorite
not
comedy
that's not
movie.
scary. That's comedy.
You guys ever seen Insidious?
Never saw it.
No.
Scariest.
I think
movie
I
I've ever
have.
seen.
Which
Actually-
one was that? It was the.
It was the one that guy. He's like explain. The scariest scene from that is he's talking to like the ghost lady that's there to find the ghost, and he's like explaining like
Is that the one
what the
with the nun?
demon looks like. No, it's.
Oh, the red faced demon.
Yeah.
I saw
He's
that
like,
one.
he's got red face. He got horns. He's got eyes that look like they're gonna smack you in the face. And then it turns around, and the demon's like right next. Oh, I about threw up.
I
was
kind of.
like,
I kind of lost it though when it was like, all right, we need to go into the ghost world and save your son. And it's like I kind of lost it
yeah,
at that
that's
point.
when it lost me too.
I'm like, what?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
It's anything about going to the ghost
like-
world.
you've been gifted since birth. You have the ability to leave your physical body and enter the ghost world. Now you must go save your son. It's like, what? I never knew I had this ability. I'm amazing. Shut up. This is an anime.
Oh, nothing is anime.
It pretty much was an anime plot though.
Everything is anime.
The one though, when they went in the ghost world, there was that part that got me where it was, God dang, will you stop making these motions? But there,
Go on.
never mind, I'm done.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Done.
I go to the ghost world.
Insidious. Insidious is the scariest movie I've ever seen.
But what about your ghost world?
Forget the ghost world. Go see. Actually, don't go see that movie. It's
It's
It'll
probably not
traumatize you.
playing anywhere.
The Lady in Black is also scary too.
I haven't seen that one. It looked interesting though.
It was pretty scary. But half of that's too. When I was a kid, my dad took me to see the play at our local playhouse, and it scared the crap out of me as they play. And then I watched the movie. I was like, my God, this gets worse.
We should have a sequel to the Lady in the Black Dress. It's like the lady in the nice summer,
The
evenly
Lady in
colored
Sundress.
dress,
And it's just a hour-long movie of a lady just picking flowers and like planting
sipping
them.
tea.
Yeah.
What just happened?
I don't know.
I think we're done. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we all spooky and terrified now?
No,
Even-
no.
I wish we saved this for Halloween, but we can do that again.
No, I have plenty of
I'm-
things to say on Halloween.
And we may have to discuss this, but the whole haunted farm idea,
I'm into that.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I am going to squeal, not scream, squeal like a little girl.
I'm gonna do that shriek that
I
you
kinda
love.
wanna
Maybe squeal like a pig, cause it's a farm. Suey.
You want me to do that? Your favorite shriek? Like make him think. Oh my god.
I think we killed him.
I have nothing to say. I can just only scream.
If anything, I'm gonna make the people there think. Oh my god. I give up.
All right. Well, let's sign off here.
Okay.
Thanks, Colton.
Thank you.
Tater.
Me.
Ben. Christian. Think we've done good.
Yeah. I enjoyed this night. This spooky night.
As always, vegetarians suck it.
Yes.
Amen.
Send your good
Something we
thoughts.
live by.
And make sure to watch those movies we recommended.
Which one? I guess Insidious.